So last week, what we did is we gave you a introduction to freelancing. And freelancing is where you can go to a company like Upwork that we're using as an example, take your existing skills and look for ways that you can apply your skills to companies that are looking for workers. And you can control your hours, you can control your income, you can pick the companies that you work for, but there is work and steps in advance to do that so that you can maximize your chances of doing it. You know what would be interesting to know is if anybody last week was here and went through and set up their profile. If you would just answer yes in the chat, that would be helpful. And those of you that are just joining again, welcome. We're going to take time to address your individual questions. Okay, so I have asked Michelle and Jam to join and participate today because they both are work on Upwork. So they work for the Disability Digest through Upwork, and they had contacted me or I had contacted them. I don't remember how that works. So they're freelancers, and I am on the hiring side here for the business. So we're going to share our mutual experiences with you to help you understand some of the key steps that you can do, should do to set up your Upwork profile. Okay, so I see a yes here from Leonard, set up your profile, fantastic. I don't see that anybody else did, but that's okay. All right. So the brief recap is you set up a profile and then you look for a job. And last week we showed you how you can look for jobs in like virtual assistant, doing administrative work, how you could take skills from maybe being a nurse or a teacher and apply those. So today we're going to spend some time on getting started, on setting up your profile. And Michelle has offered to share some tips in setting up your profile. So if you look at my screen before Michelle gets started, I have set up a freelancer profile as you would to go in here and look for a job. And this is mine right here. So I don't know if there's anything I should navigate to that would be helpful for you, Michelle, but if there is, let me know. Otherwise, love to hear some of the tips that you would suggest for our audience out there.
Okay, so yeah, thank you, Brian. As you all can see, this is the Upwork website wherein you can actually create your own profile to browse jobs or to apply for jobs. And initially, you would like to put in all your basic information like name, email address, phone number for them to contact you in case they will need to call. And also you would need to put in your previous experiences inside the platform. And I would highly suggest once you go ahead and input your job experiences, you should be very specific on the tasks that you do previously, because employers would actually take a look on the previous jobs or the previous tasks that you have done. And they would also check if that would be somehow similar to what they would need. So be specific on the job description that you have done previously. And also, you should also put in your best contact number, like your email, the best email to contact you. Mm-hmm. And after setting up your profile and all the information, you would submit the request for a profile application, and that will go through verification inside Upwork. And then after that, it would usually take around 12 to 48 hours before you get a reply from them, if you get approved or not. So That's how you actually set up your profile.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what are some of the common pitfalls that people might make in setting up their profile?
The most common is that if you don't actually put in like a specific information about your previous jobs, then employers might just skip on your profile. If you are like putting something generic, for example, admin tasks, if you just fill that out from on your job experiences, then they just might skip you because admin test is a very broad job description or task that you have done in the past. So you should also put in there if you have done admin tasks, you should include if it has something to do with like Excel editing or Word typing or basic admin tasks. So those are the specific things that you should include inside your job description.
Specifics. Right? What about the general aesthetics of it? Is there anything like, you can see my okay picture that I have here, but
they would actually prefer to have a picture or profile picture wherein you are like wearing something corporate.
yeah.
So that's one advice that was given to me by one of the verification representative from Upwork. So it would be best if you are wearing a corporate attire. And people right now are really visual. So if you're wearing that could actually be a big point for you.
Yeah,
And go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, just make sure you include a decent photo.
Okay. So I missed the mark on this one because I just have a headshot.
But yeah, that would also add more points if you have a photo that has professional setup. And yeah, I think those are the basics that you need to do when setting up your Upwork profile. And once you get approved, that's the time that you'll be able to browse jobs based on your previous experiences. And yeah, as you can see here, this is actually one sample. You could actually see how much they would offer you, like $145 per hour, depending on your asking. Because once you set up your profile, you'll also put in there how much is your starting rate per hour. Also, how many hours you would like to work in a week. So as for example, as for me, I work 40 hours per week. That would actually depend on your availability, guys. So those are the things that you'll be able to set up on your profile.
I'm curious, if somebody's new working on Upwork and they don't have any experience or track record and they're going and want to get started, is there a strategy for hourly wage? Should it be lower or higher, or,
Yeah. If you don't have experience, Brian, the offer usually would actually be lesser compared to those who are experienced people. So what I can suggest, if you don't have experience that correlates to jobs that are inside Upwork, if you have had previous training in regards to the task or the line of your expertise, then include the trainings that you have had in the past. And also include sample portfolio that you have done, even if not for an employer, if it's something that you have done during you are still studying, so you could also include those information inside the profile just for you to add some points since you don't have the experience relevant.
I get it. So I think what I'm hearing, for example, if somebody is an executive assistant for the president of a company and they're no longer able to work because of their condition, but they can work here on Upwork, well, they have all the experience, so they would need to communicate that experience, and that would be able to justify a solid hourly wage, right?
Yes. And they can also include their daily tasks that they have done, stuff like that, in order for the employer to really find out that you are really capable in doing the job. Since you have the experience, you'll also be able to outline on how you execute your tasks on a daily manner.
Yeah.
So if they actually see that detailed information, then there's no way they want to hire you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can also ask for testimonials from your previous clients outside Upwork.
Oh, good. Good
Yeah.
one.
Yep.
Good. You know, and if you're listening to this and you're like, oh my God, I don't see that I have any experience. I expect you do if you've done something for work that, you know, that you can leverage here. But let's just say that you don't. You know, you could go the traditional route and work on a volunteer basis or at a Center for Independent Living, or go through NTI at home that we work with, and get some experience and training there, develop some skill sets, and then look at this as a step two to come back to. So don't be discouraged if this is like not a fit right now, but something that you want to do.
Yeah.
This is great. Okay, so let's see here. Got kind of a hit list over here of things I want to make sure that we cover. All right, and you think can we move on to, or should we move on to tips for finding like employment contracts and places to work after or is there anything else we should cover on setting up the profile and the profile strategy?
I think I'm good with
Yeah,
the profile, and we can move on to the next topic, Brian. Tips on
Okay.
finding contracts.
Okay. All right. I will put in here just as an example. I don't know if this would help, but I'll type in, how about virtual assistant? Just to give us an idea, something to look at. Does that make sense? So if somebody's going to go in and they want to work, I'll use the administrative assistant for years or anything where they've done any type of admin work, and they want to go in and apply their skills and be a virtual assistant. And Ika, my dog, is going to go into a barking fit here, so bear with me. So what are some of the tips for finding contracts in this area? So again, administrative assistant, some type of office type work with sitting 6 to 8 hours a day, can't do that anymore, come in here.
Okay, so tips on landing your first client for beginners. Like we've mentioned earlier, you guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So first is the decent photo. So, and especially you want your photo to be friendly. So try not to look too serious. So for Brian, your picture is actually okay. For you, Brian. And make sure that you create a compelling profile. So you can use every part of your profile to showcase your skills, and also showcase your expertise in the title and overview section. And you can also make an introductory video, and also create a templated proposal that is suited to your niche, as opposed to writing new versions each time you apply to a listing. And make sure that your profile matches the job description that you're trying to apply for.
Okay. You said something there that really piqued my interest, Jam. Sorry to be rude and raise my hand like you do in class. When you say an introductory video, do you mean a video specific for the job, or do you mean like a profile video?
You can make two actually, for your profile and then for the job that you really want to apply for.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, so for introductory, it's just mostly about your previous experience. You can highlight your personal and your professional skills, as well as your experience. Yeah.
Okay.
Just those.
I'll share with you what I do on from a hiring side. When somebody comes through and applies, we ask them a series of questions, and I do look for a video on their profile, but not many have one. But what I do ask for, well, not all the times, but I commonly ask for somebody to submit either an audio recording or a video explaining 2 or 3 simple points as to why they would like to work here. And I do that so I can get an understanding for their delivery and their communication style, because usually within 30 seconds, I can understand if they're going to be able to relate to our members, our audience out there. So that's what I do. So if you could be prepared to do that, like Jam's suggestion, and it's as easy as, I don't know where my phone is, I was going to pick it up, but you can just do it with your iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so great. Any other thoughts?
On the tips?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you can check your client's average paid hourly rate.
Yeah.
And since you're a beginner, I highly suggest that you drop your rates to gain your first review.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because you know, through the eyes of the client, this makes you a gamble, and they have no real proof that you're capable of doing what your profile says you can do. So yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah, decrease your hourly rate to encourage those who are interested.
Right. Yeah. No, that's but I also think that if somebody decreases their hourly rate, they should provide a justification for it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go back from my side. So if I see somebody that has an hourly rate that's below the market range, what I would expect to pay without an explanation, then I would be concerned. I have had this happen to me. People have done that, and they've said, listen, I just want to get started. I want the opportunity. Give me a shot, and this is what I'll do it for. So good point.
Yeah.
Okay. Michelle or Jim, if we're looking at these as real life contacts, like these on the screen here, is there anything that you would point out to those in the audience that would either be yay, go ahead, or nay, don't?
Yeah, payment verified.
Okay, so right here.
Yeah.
And what about payment verified?
Yeah, it should have a blue check.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Because that would mean that the client has verified their bank accounts or connected, yeah,
I don't
to
see
the app.
I don't see any of these that are verified, but
You can just filter.
Okay, so everybody pay attention on the left-hand side here. There's payment verified. I'm going to click that. And you'll see there's a blue check. So these are the good ones. These are the ones that are proven.
Yes.
Yeah, take note of this, guys, because this has been my experience. The first job that I applied for is not payment verified, and they asked to communicate to me outside the Upwork app. So yeah, short story, they asked for money, like $20 before they give me a task or hire me or give me a client. So that's a scam. So everything should be communicated inside the Upwork app.
All right, so we'll go on to that in a minute, but while we're here, payment verified as one very important thing. Are there any other like tips to look for? You mentioned hourly rate of $25 to $30 is what they're paying. This one's 15.
How much they spent?
How much
that's
they
personal.
spent.
Yeah, personal advice.
So this one has spent $100,000 on Upwork. So they're definitely a heavy user.
Yeah.
This
that would
one
mean
is,
that they've been a client for a while.
right. Here's one for 30,000. Okay. All right, so payment verified, how much work they've done on Upwork. Okay, good. Should we move on to communication? And of course, if you have any questions about what we're going through, put them in the chat. We're going to go through and address all the questions in a few moments when we're done here. Communication through the Upwork app. If you watch my navigation up here, you'll see at the top, there's some different drop downs. Are you referring to everything going through this messaging feature?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So for those of you that are listening, if you reach out to a potential contract, your message will be sent through this. They'll reply back to this. And I know for how my profile is set up, as a copy of the communication also goes into my email inbox, but it would be a good habit, in my opinion, to, once you're working and active, to check this daily, right? Just to make sure you don't miss it until you have the confidence that everything is working properly. Anything we should cover in this section?
None.
None. It's pretty like,
Yeah.
it's like using a chat feature from Facebook or others.
Yeah.
All right. So you contact somebody, you send out a message, they respond, hey, I'm really interested in you. What typically happens next?
You get an invite
Okay.
for interview.
Invite for an interview. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the interviews are conducted how?
They will be sending you a Zoom link or Skype link.
Okay. Zoom or Skype. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And any interviewing tips?
Yeah, for that matter, you need to be on the meeting room 5 minutes
Yes.
before the scheduled interview. So that
Yeah.
Okay.
leaves a very good impression to your employer that you are, you're not tardy. So 5 minutes before the interview time, be on the meeting
Okay.
room.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, and
Punctual.
also it would be helpful if you have prepared your tools, like you have a headset and you have a good camera quality
Right.
as well.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. So camera quality, let's talk about that for a moment. I know a little bit about that. Computers have cameras, and they're all right unless you're using a Mac, they're better. And you can definitely do this on your phone. If you have an iPhone or a recent Android, then the camera quality on those is going to be even better. So to have the camera is one thing. The other thing is lighting. Like, I don't know, Michelle and Jam, do you use any lighting?
Yeah,
Well,
when
yes.
okay, go ahead.
In my room right now, I have 3 lights on just to make sure that it's well lit on the camera.
Right.
I have 2.
2. Good. Yeah, and so you want to have the lights facing at you. There's a lot of YouTube videos out there, and you're probably like, oh my God, I really got to get into this, but you do. You want to, I mean, it's an interview, so it's like going into a job. You want to have a good impression. I even put on a collared shirt for this event today, so.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So you definitely want to come across. And, if you want to know what not to do, you can go back on our YouTube channel to like 2018 and see some really ugly videos with some bad lighting. But it's part of the process. Okay, so we have an interview and then pretty much you're on your own there. It's like you're going to go and communicate what you can do and what you cannot do and take it from there. Any other set up technical tips that we're missing?
Yeah, before the
Um,
interview, make sure your computer,
is
uh,
working
yeah,
properly.
is working, your audio,
Ah,
and
And
right.
your
just a
internet.
heads up, yeah, a heads up, everyone. Whenever you have an interview, an employer could also do a spot technology check. When we say
Yeah.
technology check, they usually check your internet speed. They also
Mm-hmm.
check what's the make and model of your computer and the software that you use, as well as the make and model of your headset. And there are also employers that would require you to have your webcam even if you are working. So if you are like working 8 hours a day, they would like the webcam to be turned on.
Hmm.
So those are
Hmm.
our employers. There are some employers that would require that, but others don't.
Right.
So yeah, those are just good to know things.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, I don't expect our audience is going to be, unless there's somebody that's listening, working full time and looking to transition, then that definitely would be applicable. So now that I think about it, that could apply for people. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. So
Yeah, Brian,
people,
for those employers who requires that, those are the tasks or the jobs that would usually include like payment information.
mhm,
So if you are actually an account executive doing sales and you would need to close a sale and you would need to like ask the customer for the purchase, then they would require you to be on camera always.
okay,
So yeah, just
all
a good to
right,
know.
all right. What
Yeah.
other office type setup items should somebody have to be successful at this? We talked about computer, camera, headset, some lighting. If you have natural lighting, that's the best.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Make sure you set up a comfortable workplace.
Uh,
Yeah,
mm-hmm,
you're
yeah,
not like for example, you're not easily distracted
mm-hmm,
from outside noises.
mm-hmm, right.
Mm,
Dogs, lawnmowers, children,
yeah.
cats. My mom just came to the door, which she seldom does, but
Oh, that was
I should
her.
have invited her in, actually. Um, okay, this has been great. One thing I'll add that I can think of before we kind of wrap up and take some questions is there's support that's available at Upwork. And I know I've used them from my side. Have you used the support, Michelle and Jam, for Upwork?
No, I
No.
haven't.
Okay. I know they have remote support. Like when I was setting up as a freelancer, and I went through this exercise, for a variety of reasons, but I actually got some fantastic support, and there's some good resources that are available. So it's not like you're left alone. It's of their best interest to help you out because they are basically the broker, and they put the employer and the worker together, and they get a piece of the action for every dollar that's spent, and that's how they make their money. So they want to make sure that this goes successful. So anyway, I hope those of you listening out there have found value in learning to freelance.